welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara Briain. Joining me this week are Maisie Adam and Ishan Akbar, Angela Barnes, Hugh Dennis and Alistair Beckett-King. We hope at coming towards the end of COVID restrictions. Nonetheless, for safety, we're still encased in perspex between each panellist here. Ours are a virtual audience. You can see them there in their lovely homes. Well, some lovely. And one man on the Would I Lie to You set, which is a particularly unusual thing. I mean, which I presume was meant as a friendly gesture, but it's actually kind of passive-aggressive. We start with a round called If This Is the Answer, What is the Question? On categories. Alistair, which category would you like?
I would like home news, please.
OK, cool. Your topic is home news. The answer is 12. What is the question?
How many friends do I have to invite over for it to get biblical?
Is it rounded up to the nearest, how many votes did Lawrence Fox get in the mayoral election?
Is it on a scale of 1 to 10, how embarrassed was I when I had to ask a bigger boy to take the...
This is, including my family of 4, this is the population of the dip.
Is it after how many sessions did I have to tell my dad that he didn't need to do my backsack and crack?
He's shocked.
No, it's not that.
Is it how many seconds did I last in Dragon's Den pitching my idea, stab-proof?
Is it the number of times a minute someone sees me, says it, and gets it sorted?
Is it when Keir Starmer says he takes full responsibility, how many people does he actually blame?
Is it, at what age did I was embarrassed after misunderstanding the term jam session?
Dara, you are the mathematician.
Yes.
Is it quite simple? It's in the kilometre.
Is it due to an admin error? How many doses have I had?
Is it?
Does anyone have the correct answer?
Yeah. Is it how many people have been fully vaccinated?
Until what age did I think cats were female dogs?
I understand that. I think I might have thought the same thing.
Oh, Hugh, I was joking. I knew they were a different animal. I'm not an idiot, mate.
The correct answer.
The correct answer is how many travel destinations are on the new government green list?
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Hugh.
Yeah, the correct answer.
Yes, question I was looking for was, how many places is the government adding to its green list of destinations that people can return from quarantine-free? This government announced 12 specific countries and overseas territories that won't require travellers to quarantine upon their return to the UK, although many of those places still have restrictions in place. It's an exciting situation where the government, as they said, you can come from those places, but you can't go there.
Portugal's on the green list, but Portugal permitting people from the UK. So it's very much sort of got the energy of when your mum used to be like, go and play with the kids on the street. And you're like, they've made it explicitly clear they don't want to play with them.
Why would we need to go to Portugal the same week they're reopening Nando's?
Also, you can see that the Falklands will turn into Benidorm. There'll be like loads of hen do's and stag do's. That place would not have seen as many shots since 1982.
Falklands, mate.
Let me check my watch. You're a bit like, whoa, too soon for the Falklands material.
I think the confusing part of the coding is it's like traffic lights. So there's a green list and there's an amber list and there's a red list. And what that means is you can't go to the country on the red list unless you're a cyclist.
I wanted to book a holiday to South Sandwich because I had to cancel my holiday to North Sandwich. So I looked up flights, and they're fully booked. There are physically no flights going to... So they've literally... It's just a hustle from the government, isn't it, to just say we can go on holiday, but a list of places that basically don't exist. Soon, like, everyone's angry there's only 12. So heard you, we're adding some to the green list. You can now go to the Bermuda Triangle, Mordor and Balamory.
I think what it is, it's got nothing to do with science or reciprocal agreements. Boris has just Googled which countries have the most lax bigamy laws.
I asked my girlfriend if she wanted to go to South Sandwich, and she said...
Oh.
Why do I keep getting old?
Ishan, that's weird. I asked your girlfriend if she wanted to go.
It is a bit like when your partner gives you, like, a freebie list of, like, celebrities you can sleep with, but the celebrity hasn't agreed to it. The celebrity is Brunei. It's like being told that you can have sex with Roy Cropper from Coronation Street and then being turned down by Roy Cropper.
eyes now are on, they're going to join this green list. That's what everybody's looking for.
Yeah.
And I can't help but think that with the lack of Eurovision last year, that's how we should announce it. Like, Grant Shapps should just come on to be like, the UK gives green status to Gibraltar! And we all sort of applaud. And in true Eurovision style, all the ugly sackers off.
A lot of politics makes a lot more sense when you realise that world wars also run on Eurovision rules. So because we won host the next one. That's where things are going.
What, however, in the spirit of opening these things out, what will we be able to do with our friends and family for Monday?
Pint indoors.
You can have a
I'm
pint.
so excited. It's been so embarrassing going to the pub and asking if I can have my pint served warm.
To the pub's opening, because I don't drink alcohol. It's not. I know it's not a cool thing to say, but I don't.
You're a better Muslim than me.
Yeah. Cracking beard, no alcohol. Yeah.
I don't think anyone was watching this going, what a good Muslim.
I've integrated, what can I tell you?
I don't hear anyone goes, you know what, Muslim, I'm not doing it. What else can we do from next week?
They are relaxing rules on intimate contact between friends. And sounds incredibly dodgy.
Yes, it does, yeah. I mean,
To relax that rule, because I've been watching lots of documentaries on Netflix where that has happened, and it doesn't turn out.
I would say that a lot of the rules about intimate contact with friends and family, they predate COVID. They've been there for a while.
It'll be nice to know that despite officially being allowed to, my dad's going to continue his 36-year streak of never hugging me.
Maybe it's because you keep asking him to wax your ball.
As long as you don't breathe in each other's faces. I haven't hugged anyone for a long, long time, but I don't remember that being a massive feature of hugging. Was I doing it wrong? Was I meant to go in like...
This last year, it's been so much better to go, like, it saves the awkwardness, doesn't it? Of going, oh, are we hugging friends? Are we handshake friends? This...
What you have to do, actually, I mean, the technique, we all know the technique, because what the new technique of hugging is already, is the soap opera I've Been Unfaithful.
Oh, I love that one.
Isn't it?
I love that one, yeah.
So they go in,
Yeah.
you know, your lover or whatever goes in for the hug, they go here, you look straight over their shoulder, you go...
I agree, actually. I mean, I'm not on board with the hugger as a personality type. You know, people who call, though, creepy.
Yeah, OK, that's creepy.
You know, like, I like hugs, I just don't like huggers. You know, in the same way that I like dogs.
There's also instructions in this, don't look... And then it says, don't hug everyone. Now, that's mad, isn't it? You're not going to hug... You're not going to walk down the street hugging everyone.
That's totally my plan Monday.
It also
that is, I will be roaming London like a bear, which I do anyway, to be honest. Get back down.
I've seen you walking around. You walk around just grabbing honey. You're always wearing a T-shirt but no trousers. Just wander around. The thing is, though, they're saying you've got to practice caution and restraint. That's the language in it. Caution and restraint. And there will be people that don't feel safe yet. So the trick is, I think, right, so that people feel safe when you're hugging them, that they're fine, is just when you're holding them tight and their head's there next to yours, just lean into their ear. Remember, I'm really restraining myself at the moment. That's what the government have told us to do.
I think it's simple than that. All you who aren't that keen on being hugged, all you need to do is just for the first few weeks of hugs being legal, also legalise stabbing.
Wow.
In which case, I've got a business idea for you. Have you heard of stab-proof denim shorts?
Funny enough, Reece, I'm not that worried. Hugging me in the shorts region.
OK, at the end of that round, the points go to Angela, Hugh and Alistair. Now we play a round called Yippee-Ki-Yay, Mother Hugger. This round involves Alistair and Ishan, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch a wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about it. Here we go. Our first topic, please. Let's spin the wheel. And the topic is exercise. Who wants to come on that?
I'll take this one. Now, the thing is, I've always been a bigger guy. My name is Ishan Akbar, and at school, my nickname was Snack Bar. Which is a bit of a move towards, like, the body positivity movement. And I have to say, I am body positive in that my body is positive for high cholesterol and high blood pressure. So during this lockdown, I thought, right, OK, I'm going to try and lose a bit of weight. And here's the thing, my attitude to weight loss is a bit like Labour's attitude to getting elected, in that we both really want it to happen, but neither of us care. went online and I got completely overwhelmed by how much information there is on how to lose weight, diet plan. But I found a foolproof plan on how to lose weight. It's called the Free School Meals Challenge, where for £30 a week, they send you £5 worth of food. You don't need a gym. It's amazing, right? And here's something I learned. I learned that different cultures and different communities have different attitudes to weight loss and exercise. So my girlfriend, class white lady, because I'm doing well. And people like her, you know, liberal middle-class people, they all do the same thing. They'll be like this. They'll be like, oh, tiring, we could work. Teams meeting, Zoom meeting, all sorts of meetings. I need a day to do absolutely nothing. And then, irrespective of the weather, you'll find a waterproof coat, walk up that hill, walk down that hill, and have some weak tea and weak soup at the end of it. Why? Why do liberal middle-class white people like doing warm mudder, the things that refugees need to survive? You make it your leisure activity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hisham. OK, that leaves us with out there. Let's see what your topic is. Let's spin the wheel. The topic is physical appearance.
Yes, I have one of those. Good. For context, my full name is Alistair Beckett-King. Now, I never know what kind of impression it makes, so I'm thinking to a comma, so it becomes Alistair Beckett, King. So much more impressive. But I actually live in a sanctum of John the Baptist. Now, a few of you might be thinking, I don't know if I can visualise the martyrdom of John the Baptist, but you can be like this. That's right, I'm Britain's leading New Testament impersonator. Congratulations. But people will ask you that question, have you found Jesus? Have you found Jesus? They say it can be difficult to find Jesus. And this confuses me because, in my experience, he's used the paintings, you know? Slap bang in the centre. If you're struggling, I'm going to give you a bit of advice. What you want to be looking for is, like a guy raising one hand as if to say, yeah, I'm Jesus. You know, this guy. Well, if that isn't enough for you, don't worry. There'll be other clues to 12 other guys, really well-drawn robes and beards, all going, oh, look, it's Jesus. Sometimes Doubting Thomas is there, getting a poke at the wound, you know? Doubting Thomas, or as I call him, sensibly waiting for empirical evidence Thomas, getting a poke. All I'm trying to get at is the whole of Western Christian art is a much easier version of Where's Wally? No, let's be serious. You know, I would never compare me to Jesus, although a lot of builders have, because, well, I don't look like Jesus. Let's Jesus, because I'm white, whereas Jesus was imaginary. So, apologies to any Christians for whom I've spoiled the surprise. I'm sorry.
Okay, give that round. Points go to Alistair. Come up, sit down. Our next round is called Picture of the Week. I show the panel, tell me what's happening. So, what's going on here?
I think they put Keir Starmer on the TARDIS to demonstrate that his charisma looks a lot smaller from the outside.
Is this simply the closest Keir Starmer will ever get to power?
He's just going, I haven't a clue what any of these knobs do, but less about my job, too.
I'll tell you what, it looks very different to the place where Boris Johnson had his IT lessons.
Presumably, this time machine can take me back to 1997.
When politicians visit a workplace, why do they always dress as the people they're visiting? It's a nunnery, frankly.
It looks like the English version of The Lion King.
Her voice going, we're in Hartlepool. I'm afraid I can't do that, kid.
I think he's considering distracting results by doing a Chernobyl.
Can anyone do the correct answer, please?
That's Keir Starmer, probably.
Absolutely right. Thank you very, very much. Hugh, very good. Yes. Yes, of course. It's a picture of Labour leader Keir Starmer, who this week oversaw disappointment across much of the country. What was significant, for example, about the Conservatives' win in Hartlepool?
Well, because they held that seat forever.
Yeah.
Basically. I mean, the Reds so fast, David Hasselhoff's planning to do a gig on it.
If I may speak on behalf of the working classes... as an average man on the street, I'm actually from the northeast of England. It's one of the least ethnically diverse parts of the United Kingdom, and I don't think it's understood at all. When I was a kid, the first Asian people I met were characters in maths exam questions. And that doesn't set you up for... When I met Ishan earlier, first thing I did was give him a basket.
I do find that Labour response to what's happened is, you know, to have a reshuffle, and it's like, oh, it's cute.
The idea of retrade policy, you see this in all sorts of lines of work when things... Like when a football manager, right, if something's going wrong on the football pitch, always you see it, he puts the striker in goal for a bit for a new perspective. It's just...
Particularly like the way that he essentially seemed to have fired Angela Rayner. And then it turns out he was actually just doing a really elongated X Factor story. I will not be bringing you back as party chairman because you're now the Secretary of State for that.
It's the political equivalent of going to dump someone, they start crying, then you get on one knee and propose.
Oh, don't cry, I want to make you happy. Let's come out. Oh, shit.
And it gets even more mad because also she's the shadow of the Duchy of Lancaster, which means she has to shadow... As he's undead, he doesn't have a shadow.
Well, So she is the shadow of the Duchy of Lancaster, which is the most insane. We deserve every offensive British portrayal in American films we get, if that's a job title. Why, hello, I'm the Shadow Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster. Mrs. Minoggin's gone cold. It's ridiculous. Why is that a phrase that is an actual job that runs this country? But she's that, right, that most old-fashioned thing I've ever heard, and she's the shadow of work. She is this old medieval thing and something from the future. It's like she's been told she's got to run the TikTok account for Stonehenge.
But jousting to her.
She's been out on the campaign trail, and people have sort of been making fun of the way she dresses, which is just like an ordinary woman as far. You have to dress for the job you want, which is why my dream is to be a magician on a ferry. But... I'm practicing my card tricks, I'll show you later.
If you ask me, the only time a woman's dressed inappropriately is if she's wearing a dress without pockets.
The idea that posh people can make fun of how working-class people dress when posh people invented fencing, a sport, while you're dressed as a sexy beekeeper.
Because literally, you can see they're in a complete spin because nothing will... Literally, they've tried everything. Big things, small things, arcuri, curtains, everything. They're flinging stuff, and he's just sitting on the other side of the box going, vaccine, bounce, bounce, bounce. Nothing will stick to it.
It's no Teflon. Like, it doesn't... like, there's so many skeletons in his closet. Upset enough when we find out he's made us pay for the closet.
End of that round. Can we give the points to Anne Reese, please? Now we come to scenes we'd like to see, so if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, please. And we'll see what our panelists can come up with. OK. The first subject is things a sports commentator would never say.
Morokovic passes it to Murray, passes it to Djokovic, passes it to... God, this is predictable, isn't it? Bloody
And I'm joined by Scotland's leading retired tosser, Alex Salmond.
And Hamilton finishes the first to the second lap. He is nailing it in his new job as a lap dancer.
Oh, he has driven that to some trees, and that is the worst penalty I've ever seen.
Federer, 40 love. You're 40 love. Retire. Think of your name.
He was disqualified yesterday after submitting a urine sample. The urine was for one.
Well, the referee is getting abuse, and that's not good to see. But now he's going to the monitor.
And the crowd is chanting 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, which is 170 in binary.
Hamilton comes away with 12 points. So well deserved. He was doing 200 in a built-up area.
And the striker's through on goal, and the keeper is coming out. Not really the time or place, but good to see we've kicked homophobia out of football.
And it's a classic pit stop there from Lewis Hamilton. Ginster's coffee and a shit.
That right hook caught him completely off guard. It was swift, it was aggressive, and has completely ruined this chess match.
Got that swimming, Cozzy.
Well, I don't know what the rules say about that. Surely that javelin went for the goose it was stuck in.
You're watching the Divorced Olympics, and it's Kanye West and Bill Gates coming up to the finish line, but it's Lawrence Fox. Lawrence Fox for the gold!
And look at this, Hamilton is now leading, and I'm being escorted out of the theatrical.
And now we have the final of the Olympic 100 metres for men. 8 on the planet will cover this distance in just 9.6 seconds. Shit, missed it.
The next topic is unlikely things to hear in the government COVID briefing.
So tonight's COVID briefing will be hosted by Matt Hancock. Due to a scheduling mix-up, Giles Brandreth in Dictionary Corner.
Well, there are clearly variants of concern. There is one from South Africa, but the one we really need to worry about is a variant of the Brazilian, otherwise known as the vajazzle.
Sorry.
Tonight's COVID briefing will be led by Matt Hancock. And yeah, he's in this now too.
Mr. Hancock, will you stop stalling and just answer the question? It's simple. I'll ask no eyes but cannot see. You'll head inside if you see me. What am I?
Yeah, my question's for Patrick Balance, virology.
Due to an administrative mix-up today, can I please, who was inoculated with the Tizer, to return to the vaccination?
Urge you not to travel unless it's absolutely essential. Like that trip to Barnard Castle, that was absolutely fine. Dominic, please don't leak my nudes.
So that we can reach out to a wider audience, I'm going to deliver this briefing through the medium of rap. Wham! Bam! Thank you, Van Tam. I'm Professor Chris Whitty, and my...
Hello and welcome to Mock the Week. Joining this week are Darren Harriott, Catherine Bohart and Ed Byrne, Felicity Ward, Hugh Dennis and Rhys James. We start tonight with a round called Picture of the Week. I show the panel a topical image and ask them to tell me what's happening. So what's going on?
That's the most focused I've ever seen Boris before. He must be looking at a tiny version of Tinder.
Saying, and you're saying this counts as one free school meal?
He's probably going, look at this, Richie. This is a piece of the wallpaper I caught.
If we're really going to go political, is he looking for something interesting about Keir Starmer?
Excellent balancing work there, Ed Byrne.
If I was saying I'm confused, I shook it, but I still can't see her boobs.
Because I was thinking he was going, so is this like a telescope for poor people?
Is he reading the condoms he's never opened?
Oh, look, it's Petrie Patel.
I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. I apologise.
Is he saying if you magnify it 300 times, you can see the Labour vote in Hartlepool?
Is it a prospectus where all the kids have a really horrible ageing disease?
By the way, like every school prospectus.
He's going, so what am I looking at? The economy.
I found the Indian variant. What did you call me?
Richie actually bought Briain microscope for big boys.
Does anyone else have an answer to that?
This is Boris Johnson and Rishi Sunak.
Indeed, it is. Absolutely right. Thank you very much, Hugh. Yes, of course. This is a recent picture of Boris Johnson and Chancellor Rishi Sunak. In a week, Boris Johnson urged caution as lockdown restrictions in England were relaxed. Now, what could disrupt the next stage of lockdown easing on the 21st of June?
Oh, the Indian variant.
The Indian variant.
Variant does sound a bit like the Bollywood version of the Bourne Identity.
The thing is that they left. There was no travel restrictions for ages. They've sort of, they've shut it up now. It's a bit late.
Yeah.
Sort of locking the stable door after the horse is in Bolton.
I don't trust lockdown ending. I look at the government's attitude towards lockdown the same way the end of a Marvel film. Like, just because they're telling us it's over doesn't always mean it's over. There might be a post-credit lockdown at any minute.
Like, Boris has just walked away from a bad guy he thinks he's killed.
Yeah.
The camera's gone back to an Indian variant just opening one. The first lockdown, I was being so careful, you know, happy birthday twice, just always wash my hands, nowhere near anyone, wearing my mask. The last lockdown, I was just like, oh, I wonder if my drug dealer does haircut.
You don't have a drug. Name 2 drugs.
OK.
Calpol.
Calpol.
That's the first one.
You're right. He wasn't a drug dealer per se, but I do have extra oregano, if anyone.
Who have we sent into both the army? Have got
I don't know.
You're helping a child with his homework. And who have we sent into Bolton? The army. That's army. What did the army do?
I've been homeschooling. I've done nothing but homeschooling for a year and a half, all right? So this is the tone I take in every conversation.
But I'm not so sure. I don't want to be swabbed by someone who's also been trained to use a bayonet.
Vaccine bus. It sounds like the sort of thing you'd buy on Groupon. It's like a nice day out.
I'm actually half vaccinated, but only on my mother's side.
To be fair, the PM did say that if it was more transmissible, the Indian variant, then we would have hard decisions to make. I just didn't realise it would be, who do we vaccinate? Who do we shoot? It's a big call.
I'm hopeful, though, aren't you? I'm hopeful. I think we'll, you know, I've got a sense of freedom that I didn't have before. It is, admittedly, the kind of freedom, the sense of freedom that you get on.
The way they're trying to rush through this vaccine, though, before, like, we get completely done over by the Indian variant, does feel like a teacher just come in saying, Ofsted are going to be here in...
It's like 15 facts about rivers. Remember the names of the rivers, OK? Hugh, I'm going to ask you about a river. You're a theory. So who is being vaccinated in Bolton?
Teenagers.
Yes, teenagers, in an interesting development. Why teenagers?
Well, I mean, if they really want to start a virus, just give them PS5s and ketamine.
I know a drug dealer who can get them something close to ketamine.
I'm worried that the vaccinations, because we're rushing this through, and you know what happens then? There's going to be street jabs. You know, you think you're getting the full Pfizer, but it's actually cut with measles, mumps and rubella.
It is a bit mad, isn't it? There are people who won't take this vaccine because they think it's been a bit rushed, but they will happily watch this show.
They've got AstraZeneca, they've got Moderna, and they've got Pfizer. And I know they're all vaccines, but they could easily be the names of tampons. You think about it, Moderna making you immune to period pain. I'd buy that. Wouldn't you?
I wouldn't know. Why would I buy that?
They could be the names of tampons. They could also be the names of Elon Musk's children.
They obviously would be the same as tampons because vaccines are being given away for free.
Well, there is a dealer who can get you something close to tampons.
Reece, you've never seen a vagina in your life.
Not for...
OK, we are easing the lockdown half this week, right? So what can we do this week that we couldn't last week?
It's been a real test, hasn't it? I think Sunday was the greatest test of how well, as regards the letter of the law, to be in your garden with friends and it pissed down and to look at the house going, if only it was tomorrow.
We can do lots of things we could do before lockdown. And don't get me wrong, I'm desperate to go back into the pub, partly because I left £1 on the pool table and I think I'm next up.
Why do we need a traffic light system for this? Right? It's just laws. Surely it's just yes or no. You can or you can't go. Are we going to start doing a traffic light system for all laws from now on? 5 years old, we're just going to have to go, murder is in the red category. Having a boiled egg, that's green. Now, saying that's amber. You see where I'm going?
The UK last week, when they released the green, amber and red lists, was the most awkward. Basically said to all these countries, you're on our green list. See, you're on our green list. And then waited for a week while none of them got back in touch. It was a real Rosa red, Violet's blue. We can go to you, but can you come to... No, OK.
It was so adorable. Australia and New Zealand on their green list. I'm like, adorable. Like, I have Ryan Gosling on my green list. He's also not letting these.
One exception, though. They sent out the invites to 12 countries and one said yes.
Portugal.
Portugal are now everyone's favourite country is Portugal now.
Portugal were on it because like the demand for flights to Portugal has gone through the roof, but apparently Portugal just went to school with Matt Hancock.
OK, at the end of that round, the points go to Ed, Catherine and Dara. Now we all sage something nice or sage nothing at all. This game involves Felicity and Darren, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. Stand-up challenge, I launch a wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. OK, here we go. Our first topic, please. Topic is health. Who wants to come in that?
Me?
Darren.
I haven't really been taking care of my health recently. I've been eating really bad. And during I got into something I'd never tried before, right? I became addicted. Red wine. Yeah. Never had red wine before. Love it. I am buying. Here's what I've learned, right? Don't read the label. You know, the label on red wine, it's always quite nice and fancy. It's like the smooth, aromatic, infused spices blended together. It sounds good. Problem with the label, right? The serving suggestion. It always makes it sound like you've got a classier evening planned. This wine goes well with lamb. Lamb? I'm not having lamb. I hope this quavers. I realised I had a bit of a drinking problem during lockdown, especially with the wine, and when it comes to the recycle day. And I realised that I had to go out intermittently on the day to put my bottles out, because if I put all my wine bottles in, it would sound like a calypso band. I'm all over the place, man, like emotionally and with my thinking of what happens to me, right, every now and again. Sometimes I'll be in my house, I live alone, it's just me, right? And I'll be like, ooh, I want some sex. For some sex. And I'll just walk around like, oh, man, I'm horny. I love that. Some sex, man. Oh. And then, upstairs, make myself a sandwich, eat it, and I'll be like, yeah, that's what I needed. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much, Gareth. OK, that leaves us with Felicity. Let's see the wheel. And the topic is relationships.
OK. I have been in 3 long-distance relationships, the last, sadly, in marriage. If you haven't been in a long-distance relationship, it's a powerful combination of abstinent Wi-Fi connection. And I don't care who says they're fine with it, it's humiliating masturbating while wearing a headset. Honestly, it's just looking at each other, you're like, I think he's going to orgasm or land a plane. I don't know. Please don't tell me you're doing this from an internet. And, you know, everyone's on Zoom now. You know, it used to be Skype, rest in peace. But when I Skyped, it would always freeze on the ugliest face I could possibly pull. Like, at least with FaceTime, the screen goes a little bit blurry and the words come up, and just nicely a poor connectivity. You know? And what that meant was, just do something about your face, yeah? That's why it's called FaceTime. It's time to sort this out, yeah? Not Skype. Skype's like, you're a dog, here's proof. Or I don't know if you ever had this, sometimes it would freeze and then repeat the last half second of action, so your face would be down in the corner going, habada, habada, habada. Someone's looking at you going, giggada, 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 giggada. Just 2 people being maniacs at each other. Thank you.
Good. Points there go to Dara. Come on back. Thank you. Call if this is the answer. What is the question? On the board are 6 categories. Felicity, which category would you like?
I'd like world news, thank you, Dara.
No problem at all. Your topic is world news. The answer is kilograms. What is the question?
Is it how much pasta I think I should cook for 2 people?
Is it how much? Byrne.
How is she still waiting for your response?
Is it how much of a weight off my mind was it when I found out you're sexy and cool?
Is it how much more bread I ate over lockdown than Gwyneth Paltrow?
Is it, you know Sesame Street?
Yeah.
How much meat do you reckon there is on Big Bird?
Oh, is it good time?
Oh, stop.
No.
Is it how much does James Corden's ego weigh? No,
Is it the amount of butter Nigella recommends you put on any vegetable?
Yeah.
What weight of baggage from a single passenger Michael O'Leary to have a spontaneous orgasm?
Is it due to a lie that I was forced to try and prove? How much did I press at a Year 9 assembly?
What is the maximum load-bearing capacity of every lift? Donut Staff Retirement Village.
If you're telling me the weight of your newborn baby, what would it have to be for me to give a shit?
Is it? To the people of Lilliput, how much did Gulliver's knob weigh?
Is it what is the silicon content of the average episode of Love Island?
Or is it how much makeup to achieve that natural look?
If my mum once saw me eat a pistachio, how many pistachios will I get for Christmas?
Is it what is the weight of crumpets George Clooney insisted Warburton's deliver to his house in order to do that ad? What the fuck is he doing?
He gives the money to charity, apparently.
But he's a billionaire. He could already give money to charity without looking.
And the correct answer?
Is it the launch weight of the probe China sent to Mars?
Absolutely. Very good. Yes, the question I was looking for was, what was the weight at launch of the Chinese Mars spacecraft Tianwen-1? Saturday, the Chinese spacecraft Tianwen-1 successfully landed a rover on the surface of Mars. The probe was initially launched in July before beginning to orbit the red planet in February. So why is it significant?
Well, because it is not on Mars's green list.
Yeah. I mean, everything is amber. Everything is amber. Yeah, it's got.
The amount, still at the same time, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Perseverance up there, yeah.
Are they planning their own series of robot wars without you in it?
Does feel...
To host Space Robot Wars. You must be fuming.
It would be everything I dreamed of. Me with me. This is the moment I have been building. Space Wars with robots!
The only way it could be more you if it was Space Robot Wars and the prize was a potato.
What did you say to him?
He went there. He went there. Potato, he said, because I'm Irish.
Oh, it's not. It wasn't because you're Irish. It was way more offensive than that.
Reece, Dara is so into science, if you gave him a potato, he'd use it to make a battery.
Whereas if you gave it to Reece, he'd make it a bong out of that.
Yeah. I've got a leather jacket that I'm going to grow into.
So they landed on Mars. We were actually supposed to deliver it to Venus, but no one was home, so they left it with a neighbour.
Crazy, though, isn't it?
A neighbour?
Hey, Dara, are you saying that no one in your area is a neighbour? It's only the people next to you?
I'm just saying. OK, maybe Venus is on the same street as Mars.
Yeah, almost like a neighbour. Remember the show Neighbours? They weren't just three houses, houses. And they were neighbours, and they became good friends, as we know from the song.
Controversial when I say we do not give a shit about going to Mars. Like, when are we going to start spending some money on Venus? Like we've asked you 1,000 times.
The Russians have gone to Venus, and it is horrible. Horrible.
Is it?
And they,
is it? Is it, Dara, or is that just your opinion?
I'm happy to move on to happy stories. Oh, my God, my favourite happy story, genuine, this for the thing during the week that a street in Glasgow all came out to protest the police taking somebody away. It was an immigrant thing, and the street all came out, and they all protested. It was an incredible image, which I presume loads... I came into it late. I missed the development of the story. I only saw the final image, the bit where the two guys were released, but no context. And I was watching this clip going, what has happened here? Because it looked like the police just pulled up to a street in Glasgow and went, you're not going to believe what we've got in here. Not until the street, everyone, and then brought in a massive crowd and went, OK, are we all ready? Let's open the doors. And two guys said, moving on, because we have to at some stage.
Oh.
Why has this man been in the news this week?
Because he's the mayor.
Yes, but why has he been in the news this week?
He's being touted as a future leader of the Labour Party.
By whom?
By himself.
By himself.
He's a mayor, a real job. He's like a water boy or office fire marshal that you give to someone to make them feel like they're doing something.
He's not Manchester's town crier. They don't bring him out at events.
Mayor is just a guy with a sash and a big necklace who bangs on about making things. It's essentially Miss World for losers.
picture of Andy Burnham looks like an Andy thumbs go in the mouth. Doesn't it? His mouth just looks perfect for his thumb to go in.
But also his hair is woven into the shape of a flat hat. Very, very on-brand northern.
Labour just have no fight in them at the moment. In the past, they've had these great campaign slogans. It was like, Labour for the many, not the few. Labour, it's time for real change. Right now, it might as well be Labour. No worries if not.
The red wall is the only political failure you can actually see from space.
I'm not sure which is more depressing. The fact that come up with a better policy than simply, we're not the Tories, or the fact that that isn't a good enough policy.
These were bad for Labour, and then they changed faces, and then they changed who was in charge, and now they're collapsing from within. It's a classic sugar babe scenario.
But unlike the Labor Party, the sugar babes are still performing.
At the end of that round, before we go to the first meeting here. Now we come to scenes we'd like to see. So if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, I'll read out them and see what our panelists can come up with. OK, here we go. Our first subject is rejected exam questions.
Is it still relevant? Yes or hey, nonny, nonny, no?
Philip says he sets the bar high at limbo. Is he saying he's good or bad?
Given that all mammals explain Priti Patel.
Modern politics, question 1. What the...
Welcome to your French oral exam. The swimming pool is closed and the library has burned down. Describe your...
Who are Hamill and Zuckerberg? 2 marks. For extra marks, explain Carl.
Geography. Locate Copenhagen. Denmark. It on the map.
Teaching practice, question 1. Who threw that?
What's whiter? A polar bear, a snow leopard, or the friends...
Maths. If Grandma has £1 million in the bank and I'm her only grandchild, why won't she die?
Translate into French. Piss off, Jack, you can't fish here.
Astrophysics and thermodynamics. Compared to the surface of the sun, how hot is Professor Brian Cox? Am I right?
True or false? A periodontist is a dentist from Nando's.
This is your politician entry exam. Please avoid answering any of these questions.
David has 1 banana in his pocket. Or is he just pleased to be in an exam question?
Technology. Explain TikTok to your dad. You have 12 hours.
Name an influential... And then if you like them that much, then name 2 of their albums.
Nature, question 1. What is the best way to attract song or... Oi, Derek!
Nursing qualification. Come on, just go! The words are that way, just go!
Next topic is unlikely lines from a blockbuster movie.
OK, so let me get this straight. When you change from a car to a transformer, are you saying...
Welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara, Rhys James, Maisie Adam and Robin Morgan, Angela Barnes, Hugh Dennis and Ahir Shah. We start tonight with a special prize for who in the Zoom crowd looks most like Nicholas Parsons. Well, only one winner tonight. Thank you for making a special effort. We start tonight with a round called Picture of the Week. I show the panel a topical image and ask them to tell me what is happening on here.
Ah. See, he has to wear a high-vis jacket so women can see him coming.
Too many women have seen him coming.
got to be honest, this is not how I pictured Sadiq Khan's dad.
This is just a man so posh that he sticks his pinky out when holding a steering wheel.
Get on a bus to avoid running into a weirdo on the way home.
I imagine what he's actually doing is going... Brum, brum.
He's actually on the number 3, or Carrie, as she's known. His wife number 3, what?
He's going, when I said I wanted to touch a hooter...
Like, he looks genuinely scared, like he's going, can you give me a hand? I'm not good at pulling out. I'm just...
Sorry, I've just got that.
You're welcome.
Does anyone have the correct answer?
I believe, Dara,
Yes.
that is a picture of Boris Johnson.
Absolutely right. Yes, of course. This is a recent picture of Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who this week was up to force to lift all COVID-19 restrictions by June the 21st. Where, by the way, which parts of the UK shouldn't be celebrating too soon?
So all the places have got the Indian variant.
Yeah.
Which, after my appearance this evening, is this studio, unfortunately.
But the way they have done it is like they've done most of their COVID policy, which is rather than like whistled it into the wind.
Yeah.
And hoped that someone in Bolton just hears, stay in your house.
There is a variant in the country, but answer me, these questions are very...
My first is in COVID, but not in Corona.
I've heard that there's a new variant.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
That's
taken a piece
coincidentally what the booker of this show calls me.
Is it not technically called God's?
I think the Yorkshire variant's just like all the others, except it'll talk to you at a bus stop.
I do think if there was ever going to be a variant that wasn't responsive to the vaccine, it would be the Yorkshire one, because it would take one look at that Oxford thing and go, oh, posh prick. Which, of course, is.
On the news, they must really struggle on the news reports, because presumably they just want to go, the Yorkshire variant, where everything is done proper.
Literally, like, obviously, I know COVID is bad, but when the Yorkshire variant came out, I was a little bit proud. I was like, yes, putting us on the map.
Particularly bad because it all runs down into the dip.
Yes, it could narrow down to. I mean, it could be that somebody will be able to go to a patient zero and go, that's yours, by the way. That's your variant. You made that.
We did that thing in Brighton right at the beginning, and do you remember? And it was all like, oh, Brighton super spreader, and I was like, thank God he's got my nickname now.
During the year, I found out, just in terms of knowing this kind of stuff, knowing that you can end the world, I found out that I have an asteroid named after me. And I have the path of the asteroid. It's in the International Registry of Asteroids. Me, Cox got one as well. We both, somebody quietly never told us. I just weirdly found it on a Google search.
There was a slightly odd bit of that story, because he said, I've got an asteroid named after me. My cock's got one too.
No. Yes, no, I think you're right. Rather than Venus is so legendary that there's a celestial body named after it. I once had a joke that featured the words nom nom nom. It was about how do you know just astrology, and it featured the word nom nom nom. Brian Cox is delicious. That was a part of the joke, right? And that's how you remember that which astronomy is the proper one, right? Somebody texted me after a show in Southend going, "Yeah, good show, but some people didn't get it." There was a woman I heard as she was walking out going, "I like that show. I particularly like the bit that went nom nom nom. Cocks are delicious." They may well be. They may well be. I mean, I might have been caught out in a lie there. I have no idea, but I'm happy to move on. Yeah.
So how about that variant, huh?
The what Las Vegas venue with vaccination facility this week?
Oh, this was a strip joint.
It was a strip joint, yes.
Presumably there, you're most likely to go to get vaccinated against the Brazilian.
I think it's the place you're most likely to see the Brazilian.
It's also very weird, isn't it? One of the reasons they're doing it is because there's very low vaccination uptake in Las Vegas.
In Nevada,
because people in Las Vegas who spend their whole time playing blackjack think that taking the vaccine is too much of a gamble.
Are strip clubs still open. I can't imagine anything.
Oh, yeah.
I can't imagine anything less sexy than fall.
I can't think of anything more necessary. I mean, those surfaces have been demanding to be wiped for a decade now.
It's not overdue.
This is brass, this phone.
It doesn't. This whole thing doesn't scream hygiene, does it?
It does
It's
nothing.
like booking a smear test in a TK Maxx.
To be fair, Astra and Zeneca do sound like stripper names.
Yeah. And on the main stage, Astra. On the second stage.
How are you supposed to work out which ones are the real nurses?
I mean, Reese, obviously, for you, happen in this country because on the one hand you want the vaccine, but on the other you hate seeing your mum at work.
My mum is doctors, you are correct.
Moving on, here's a small story you may have seen or not seen. Why is BBC journalist Martin this week?
We really are suckers for old news at the moment.
Yeah.
We've got Diana back. We're currently going through a plague. We're banging on about Scottish Indians. What are we doing next? A hosepipe ban and a new inquiry for Cat Bin Lady?
He showed bank statements, didn't he, to convince Diana to do an interview. But the brilliant bank statements is he's now demanded an apology from the BBC, and you think, well, why? Well, you could just write one yourself.
One of the pieces of evidence is a paper bank statement.
This is the thing, though. It was back in 1995, so I'd really love to see the forgery from 1995 because it would just be hilarious. It was probably just like a NatWest logo drawn in felt-tip pen.
Oh, my God, they're talking about 1995 as if it was the 16th century.
Someone with one of those letraset things, just putting it out and then rubbing them onto the page.
He gave it to Earl Spencer and was like, if you smell it, it's gel pens.
55, Photoshop was a photo shop.
I didn't really get the whole bank statement thing. Like, is that how you gain access to Princess Diana? Like, show her... That's how you gain access.
Apparently, the documents he forged to get access to Michael Jackson was he just made a Lego driving licence that said he was 9. I've got one of those. Isn't it sort of insane for the head of the BBC to be apologising about all of this? He was happened.
Yeah.
It's like when your girlfriend makes you apologise for something you did in her dream.
I mean, Bashir did this, but actually what was probably more because of this, it led to... And you're going, yeah, and do you know what else he did? He went up to Charles and went, hey, I think Camilla fancies you. I'm just there. Not saying anything. Look, I'll say nothing. What goes on Royal Tour stays on Royal Tour.
Not surprising, is it? We all know that the BBC deceived. 2010, I have been a hologram.
After that round, the boys got a Robin, Maisie and Reed. Now we play a round called Pfizer Chiefs. This game involves... So if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round's a stand-up challenge. I launch a wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. OK, here we go. Please. The first subject is masculinity. Who wants to come in that? Robin.
It's a lovely picture of me. I come from Wales, which is a very masculine part of the world. I feel my dad is a very masculine man. He's a beautiful man, very blunt though. Before I did stand-up, I'd never been in a relationship before, and I said to my dad, and he said, "Well, Robin, a lot of stand-ups they talk about having sex or their relationships. So what are you going to talk about?" What's up, Dad? Talk about mums of. Hi, if you're both watching. Wales is a place you should come when there's not a pandemic on. It's my favourite thing about Wales is that we have free prescriptions on the NHS. Oh my God! So I've been on the pill for 4 years. It's just nice to regulate. People get very annoyed about the war on men. People have got boycotted a few years ago because they had quite a woke advert where they called out toxic masculinity. Like, I'm not going to boycott you. It's not going to do them any harm if I do. I shave once every Eurovision. It's going to do them no harm at all. But I can't boycott you. I'm not going to boycott you. I can't use Wilkinson's sword. Wilkinson's sword? I got to use Wilkinson's sword because that's what he used to call his penis. It just brings back too many memories, you know? Hi, Mum and Dad, if you're watching. I think men change their behaviour when they're around other men, though. Like, stag do is a perfect example. My stag do started in Cardiff, and then it got worse. Right? Wetherspoons, they're always in these, old, grand, beautiful buildings. You've kind of got to respect them. Like, Tim Martin, they get the balls of that man to go, I'm going to create a chain of pubs in old, beautiful buildings. Cool, they're going to be nice inside? No. Sort of. What time are you going to open? 6 a.m. You drink from 6 a.m. Except no one's going anywhere. Thank you very much, yeah.
Come on. Well done. Very good. OK, that leaves us with Angela. Let's see what your topic is. Let's spin the wheel. And the topic is children.
Yes. Have kids. My fiancé and I, we don't want kids. We're in our 40s now, so we sort of sold on that idea. You know, it's unlikely to happen anyway now. His sperm sort of gets to the egg, and therefore... Sometimes people can't get their head around you being a woman who doesn't want to have kids. So it really blows... Sometimes people get angry with me, like on Twitter, when I talk about being happy and child-free. They get really angry. And often it's the same people who are also angry about high levels of immigration in this country. Well, are we full up or not? Pick a team. Loads of my friends have kids, and I love my friends' kids. I do. I take them out, I spoil them, I treat, I hate, but the rest... Awkward, isn't it? It's awkward when you hate one of your friend's kids. I don't know if you've had that. I think my friend knows I hate her kid as well. Only child, they live in a block of flats. For his birthday, I bought him a seesaw. It's different. Kids today, it's different. Like, a couple of my friends' kid out for the day. Now, look, some of you watching at home, you'll be the same age as me. You'll have grown up when I did in the 1970s, when our playgrounds were made of concrete, weren't they? There was none of this bouncy shit on the floor, was there? You fell off concrete onto concrete. That was it. In the 1970s, a kid's playground was completely indistinguishable from a... Wasn't it? The only way you could tell the difference is that on a building site, they made you wear protective clothing. We went after fend for ourselves. No one born after knows what it's like to have a scab that lasts for 6 years.
Thank you very much, Angela Barnes. Well done. Robert Morgan, come back. Come back. Thank you. Our next round is called If This Is the Answer, What Is... For the 6 categories. Robin, which category would you like?
Entertainment, please.
OK, your topic is entertainment. The answer is 0. What is the question?
Is it channels will there be next year?
What is my current Uber rating, given that I spent the last year writing a thesis called Are Uber Drivers...
On Monday, how many days without incident were there at Ryanair?
During lockdown, how many K of my couch to 5K did I manage?
Is it, what did Jacob Rees-Mogg score, like a roadman exam?
How many people are going to tune into next year's COVID briefing reunion episode?
Is it how many dragons chose to invest in my idea, reggae shampoo?
What are the chances of my knighthood?
I have no idea, but on an unrelated note, Reese, how many trophies has Harry Kane won with Spurs?
Just because you might not have the context, I'm Harry Kane's dad. Is it how much authority did Jackie Weaver have?
Is it how many seats the Tories would lose if Boris went on telly and just killed Attenborough?
Is it how many people were on board when I tried to start referring to it as drinky poos instead of diarrhea?
Is it how many nipples do I need?
I like the idea that you think you have a choice, you're just looking for ordered.
I could lose 1 or 2.
Yeah.
You have the correct answer.
Is how many points to be scored in Eurovision?
Absolutely right. Yes, the answer I was looking for was how many points did the UK score at this year's Eurovision? James Newman's song Embers scored 0 points. This is the 5th time that UK has come last and the 2nd time it's received no points. It's also the first time, however, any country has scored no points since in 2016.
I mean, nothing against him, but it was a bad song, right? I mean, you know, if COVID was as catchy as that song, we wouldn't be in this mess, would we?
I think by the also James Newman was the only man in Europe who wished that he'd been diverted to Minsk.
Yeah. It was entirely our fault because the song wasn't just called Embers, it was in brackets, we've got more vaccines, close brackets.
I mean, we got less points than Germany, who had a massive middle finger dancing on. That's how much people hate us.
This is the easiest game of rock, paper, scissors you'll ever play.
We don't even get into the thing, but yeah, I mean, honestly, 0-0, in 0-0, you might as well have sent in Martin Bashir singing Candle in the Wind. same number of points.
By saying, you know, oh, it's all political, it's because of Brexit, and, you know, that's why... It's like, no, it's a bad song. I mean, Israel got 35 points.
Oh, look, Russia got more. Russia weren't allowing gay athletes into the Olympics, and Eurovision is the gay Olympics, and Stephen then, they got more points than Britain did. Like, but it's not just...
To be fair to the Russians, I did quite like their song, We Will Literally Cut Off Your Gas Supply.
In other news, had to criticise Boris Johnson and the government this week.
Dominic Cummings.
Yes, it was Dominic Cummings returns now. We record this on Tuesday, so the evidence is going to be given which is the slogan of my new Dignitas-based healthcare system. Daratas, our tomorrows, your yesterday. So we don't know exactly what he said, but what are the whispers that he's going to say tomorrow?
The first one, the biggest one, is that he and Boris had a love child.
Yeah. The second was that he did a massive...
Yeah, exactly.
It's so hypocritical because it's like the maid of honour that gets pissed at your wedding and then grabs the mic, goes bab out of a bin, forgetting to mention that they went halves with you.
Watching Dominic versus Boris Johnson, those ancient riddles where it's like, one of these men can only lie, and the other can only lie.
I just didn't think he'd driven to Byrne Castle to sort out his hindsight.
Actually, is he going to have to... Do you think he's going to keep up the bad eyesight lie, bumbling and everything over?
He's saying that this could undermine our trust in politicians. I was like, who was trusting politicians? That Hannibal Lecter has really undermined my faith in cannibals.
One of his main things is that he's saying that herd immunity was the government's goal. After that, Matt Hancock came out and said that it wasn't a goal. And it's like, VAR ruins everything.
Well, yeah, that was one of the real takeaways from Dominic Cummings' Twitter thread. Herd immunity was the government's secret policy, and previously you simply had to infer that from the government's words and actions.
Yeah, exactly.
This is it. Like, it wasn't a secret policy until this morning, and basically they talked about it. Like, if you have a secret policy, don't tell Phil and Holly. Just before Gino De Campo makes a prawn linguine.
Also, it's not a policy anyway, is it, herd immunity? It's the absence of a policy.
Yes, it is.
It's like going, how are you going to solve hunger? Well, soon there won't be anyone to be hungry.
The point's going to Angela, Hugh and Aher. Now we come to scenes. We'd like everyone can make their way over to the performance area. I'll read out this week's topics, and then we'll see what our panellists can come up with. OK, here we go. The first topic is political show.
Well, I have a question for you, Andrew Neil. Why do you look like Hagrid's ballsack?
As of last Thursday, the Prime Minister has a mandate, which is unusual because he normally only shags women.
It's British politics first, but you join us here on Channel 4 for a Party Leaders Naked Attraction special.
This week we will be following the by-election. God, I wish I was by.
Priti Patel has become... Really, everyone else has been deported.
Well, I think we can all agree that the government has made that very clear.
Our next guest is a cabinet minister accepted by both colleagues and experts as in politics.
On tonight's show, I'll be speaking to the leader of the Liberals, Ed Michaels. And the funny thing about that is, none of you know whether that's his name or I've just made it up.
It's been spreading faster than any of us can manage, but it refuses to wear a condom when you elected it Prime Minister.
We have an exclusive interview with Carrie Simmons with our news correspondent, Martin Bashir.
Now to explain his new policy on dealing with religious heretics, it's Andy Byrne.
Time now for the leaders' debate, hosted by Paddy McGuinness. Remember, no liking, no voting.
Well, I think peppers than red tomatoes, so it looks like we're bringing back hanging.
Will it go red or will it go blue? That's the question everyone's asked. Stick band round my knob, and it's time to find out.
So, can I just ask a general question of the whole panel? Has anyone else got the horn?
So, tonight, to discuss the relationship state, we have Archdeacon Michael Smith and, in the interest of balance, Satan.
That question, Joe. Now, if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to answer through the medium of lying.
Will you just answer the question? I repeat, if Thomas the Tank Engine has a mouth, surely that means he also has an anus.
Matt Hancock, did you give a PPE contract to somebody who, and I quote, had kind eyes?
Next topic is commercials that never made it to air.
I'm afraid that just by watching this advert... Ryanair.
Oh, that noise means someone's at my Ring doorbell. Oh, it's my bro at work. Oh, it's OK. My wife's letting him in.
Hi, I'm Martin Bashir, and this is a class.
I'm Dara Briain. Joined this week are Kurd, Maisie Adam and Ed Byrne, Angela Barnes, Hugh Dennis and Milton Jones. We start out with a round called This is the Answer. What is the question? On the board are 6 categories. Kay, which category would you like?
Can I go, please?
You can, of course. Home news it is. The answer is 199 years. What is the question?
Is it... How long do you have to wait before you can use Bitcoin to...
How long should you get in prison if you misuse the word staycation?
Here, I'm totally with you on that.
Is it how long is Carrie Simmons going to self-isolate for after her wedding, just in case?
How long till Dominic Cummings says, I should probably let this go now?
Is it how long does it take to export a packet of Ireland?
Is it, how long is it going to be before the UK's in with a shout at the Eurovision?
Until the seas rise.
Is it? Ideally, when would Boris like the pandemic inquiry?
Is it what would be a really frustrating age for a cricketer to die?
Is it what's too big an age gap for Leonardo DiCaprio?
We expect our next Labour Prime Minister.
Oh.
Is it how long it's going to take us to get round to doing all the things we said we were going to do?
Does anyone have the correct answer?
Is it what life prison sentence sounds like a little bit of a bargain?
Is it how long would it take Robert Peston to read War and Peace as an audiobook?
How long ago did Nelson say, whatever you do, don't put me on a pedestal?
I think how long is it since the Prime Minister got married in office?
Absolutely right. Thank you very much, Hugh. Very good. Yes, the question was before this week, when was the last time a sitting British Prime Minister got married in office? This is news that Boris Johnson married his fiancée Carrie Simmons last weekend in a small ceremony at Westminster. Becomes the first Prime Minister to marry in office since Lord Liverpool in 1822. So, what was notable about the ceremony?
Was it that it was the first episode of The Bride?
Imagine marrying Boris Johnson. I mean, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Who the hell was she shagging and avoiding?
What was unusual about the wedding, I think, was they got married in a Catholic church, although Boris has been married twice before.
I had no idea he was Catholic. But on one hand...
Not Catholic. Of course he's not Catholic.
Well, I think it makes... Like, on one hand, I think he can't be Catholic because the man shows absolutely no guilt at all, and we know that. But on the other hand, he clearly doesn't believe in contraception. So...
There are so many things. Like, I mean, the notion of him being Catholic, Northern Ireland would be greeted with a wry smile. Oh, well, that's turned me around completely. And Faina going, well, I'm looking at him in a new light.
I think we're knocking it too much. I think it is absolutely lovely to see them get married. I mean, there are some things that money for everything else. There's a Tory donor.
And the reception was taking place in the gardens of 10 Downing Street, which means it was actually done a flat swap of Rishi Sunak, who was also not invited to the wedding. And apparently they danced till half one of them was like every 20 minutes coming out and going, hey, I don't want to be that guy. But we kind of said midnight, didn't we?
Yes, I can't imagine agreeing to be someone's third wife. Like, I don't like it if I've got a car that's had 3 owners.
It must have just been like Carrie. When we said find a sugar daddy, we meant like not the honey monster.
One of the papers, because the Times even were kind of worried that, oh, how beautiful for Carrie to have finally beaten Dominic Cummings. Because what woman on their wedding day doesn't go, I finally beaten Dominic Cummings?
It just goes to show that Dominic Cummings could be defeated by the biggest power of all, true love.
I think it was maybe just a little bit Dominic Cummings' piñata at the end.
He got a limo for her to the to turn up in, didn't he? Like, if it was a Sweet 16 prom or something. Like, I was expecting the wedding reception to be at Chiquitos. You know what I mean?
I feel sorry for Boris Johnson, the hairdressers.
Yeah. I saw one report that described, because Carrie rented the dress, she didn't buy the dress, she rented it, and I saw one report describe a class wedding because she hired the dress, and I was like, hiring a dress isn't what makes it a working class wedding. A conga is what makes it a working class.
They couldn't do a conga this thing because Rishi would be out again. Like, hi, guys.
It looks like he won. I wonder, though, if Boris actually did put a ring round the care homes.
By the way, in all of this discussion, we say it's very rare to record this show on a Tuesday night. It doesn't go out till Thursday, so we're just presuming by Thursday they're still married. We're just going to make that.
Does anybody else think, no one told you, if you didn't know who those people were, that looks like a photograph of a man begrudgingly about to walk his daughter down the aisle. That's what that looks like.
He's too good for you. I'm just wondering how many times in the evening she shouted, mind the wallpaper. They also said, didn't they, there was a press report saying that they're not having a honeymoon because Boris wanted to go straight back to work at number 10 and get on with... No, they didn't have a honeymoon because there is literally nowhere to go.
Meanwhile, what delayed by COVID again?
My tour.
Yes, it is. Is your tour still called 2020 is going to be my year? So, no, it's not Ed's tour, although that is obviously a subject of great...
It's the Olympics, isn't it?
It's
the Tokyo Olympics, which might be cancelled, which is a shame, because the Olympics is the toughest test for any virus.
You can understand it. You can understand that it might be being delayed. Because, also, how long when they have to sanitise the baton each time they pass it? No one's going to get a personal best with that. No one.
That time's going really slow, actually.
There are some athletes that definitely want it. Nothing puts the fear of God into a cyclist like the phrase mass testing.
There was a fear that you would have a Tokyo supervirus, which is a mascot. I mean, it is due to start in 2 months' time. And, what are the horses going to do? The horses are presumably on a boat somewhere being driven through the Indian Ocean at the moment. The horses from here, obviously, for the equestrian event. No, they won't get... And they have to turn around, go back again along the Indian Ocean. They spent 6 weeks sitting in the Suez Canal for no reason they could work out.
You've never sounded more Irish than saying the phrase, I keep coming back to...
Come back to the horses! What are you going to do with the horses?
No one's thinking of horses!
Who's going to bring the horses?
An ad for Caffrey's or Guinness or something, just you standing there in a misty meadow. I keep coming back to the horses.
The torch relay is already going. The torch relay is on its way, and you're just hoping somebody please tell them, because it'd be terrible if the last runner gets to the stadium and there's just one bloke cigarette and he goes, here, light this. I've got some terrible news.
I'd love to know what the effects variant would be. Like, in years to come, are we just going to see people from Tokyo, like, putting the shopping away on the top shelf, just like...
That was
No, no,
shocking.
no.
Yeah. But you couldn't do the spinning around. You couldn't do the spinning around one, though.
Do you want me to do rhythmic gymnastics?
But they do them on Zoom. Do the whole thing on Zoom. Imagine rhythmic gymnastics.
I mean, maybe it's an opportunity to start...
Peloton would be great.
All the Olympic athletes with something called "Good work, team. Great job."
You got this. Tokyo 2020. You've got this.
And if you want to do socially distanced boxing, knock yourself out.
At the end of that round, the points go to Angela, Hugh, and Milton. Now we play a round called Matt Hancocked It Up. This game of Milton and Case. If you could make your way over to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch a wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward. OK, here we go. Our first topic, please. Let's spin the wheel. The first subject is food. Who wants to come in with that? OK.
Became middle class recently. I know, it was a blow to the heart. But I found out I became middle class recently because I became lactose intolerant, right? No, that's it, you guys. That's why Thatcher took away the milk. She knew what she was onto, OK, right? But it's annoying being lactose intolerant, man, because I realise there's certain things I'm never going to be able to do. Like, bro, you look at Superman's weakness as kryptonite. What's mine? A chalk ice? But, you know, who's my arch enemy? The milkman? Like... It's annoying. There's so much things you can't do. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, girls will say things like, my milkshakes brings all the boys to the yard. I'm just there like, can't come. But... do you have a sortive? You don't even sound hard asking for soy milk. I go into coffee shops asking for it like it's an illegal substance. Like, yo. You got soy? It's obvious. One soya latte! It's funny, though, how some foods have, like, class attached to it now. Like, people always bring up hummus and falafel because I'm from the Middle East, and in the Middle East, hummus and falafel is just street food, which begs the question, is the same thing going on over there? Like, you know, downtown Dubai, Mohammed and Ahmed, they're looking for something new to eat. You're going to love it. What is it? Shepherd's pie. Do you know what I mean? Fatima and Layla walking around Beirut, you know, I've got some new classier stuff. That is it. Gregors.
Well done, Kay. Thank you very much. And let's see what your topic is. Let's spin the wheel. And the topic is danger.
This morning, I attached a louse to slow down burglars who arrived by barge. What if the threat aligns with Islamic extremism in a new terror group called Chalk ISIS? I failed my driving test for going 31.5 miles an hour in a primary school. My uncle, he'd a camera inserted internally, but he was annoying the wedding photographer. If you've got to tell someone bad news, best thing to do is to cut the words into the back of their hair. I'm sorry. Because then when you show them in the mirror, they'll probably just say, oh, that's fine, thanks. Yeah. And if you get into a fight with someone, hit them as hard as you can straight away. Although I now know with hindsight that when my grandmother said, do you want to take this outside, she was talking...
Well done, thank you very much. Points there go to Milton Jones. Come on, both of you. Our next round is called Picture of the Week. I show the panel a topical image and ask them to tell me what's going on here.
That's Matt Hancock showing us how many times he's told the truth.
Hey guys, a lot of rumours have been circulating the last couple of days, so I'm just doing this video to speak my truth.
Is he saying, check sure there's not a wedding invite from Boris?
Oh. Is he just trying to hack Boris's laptop and going, try Big Balls Boris 69? Oh.
Matt Hancock's going, my nephew showed me this. Apparently, if you type in Matt Hancock is a, and then see what, oh.
So going, if you enjoy my work, you can subscribe to my OnlyFans. I even take the mask off.
He looks like he's recording a message that's going to be played to Dominic Cummings before Dominic's lowered into a tank full of hungry sharks. Yeah.
It's about Matt Hancock, who this week has come under pressure over his handling of the COVID crisis in the early stages of the pandemic. Following testimony given by the Prime Minister's former Chief Advisor, Dominic Cummings. Did we all 7-hour super edit of Dominic Cummings?
If I wanted to watch 7 hours of a man moaning incoherently, I'd just ask my uncle what he thinks of Greta Thunberg.
There he is.
I tell you where he's not on his way to, is Boris's wedding.
He's clearly giving chase to the man who... What was also interesting was the fact that the sort of reaction by left-wing people, essentially, to Dominic Cummings, who we've all to high heaven for being a liar and a charlatan, and now that he's slagging off Boris Johnson, it's like, ooh, it has a ring of truth to it. It's like that one email became the paper of record because it printed a story about David Cameron putting his todger in a dead pig's head. Suddenly, the Daily Mail...
Do we believe what he said about, you know, how he retold the story about his trip to Barnard Castle? That doesn't ring true, does it?
There were threats. There were threats. I can't tell you about them now. Shh, I can't say anything anymore. But the information I gave you was incorrect because other things were happening as well that I also can't tell you about. Shh, that's all I'm saying. Oh, I'm in danger even here.
I've never been the victim of a security risk, but I'm pretty sure that if I was... I mean, he went to, like, a well-loved beauty spot. That's not what you do. Risk. You don't go, oh, there's been a security risk. People are threatening to murder us, so get in the car, we're going to Alton Towers.
You certainly don't go to supper, because that's where they go. That's exactly where these kind of people go to. They love going there.
I didn't think this would be the battle that... I thought we were going to see Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury. Instead, it's Matt Hancock and Dominic Cummings. It's like male pattern baldness versus erectile dysfunction.
Hey, those two things can coexist very peacefully. What are ministers racing to...
Get as many people vaccinated as possible.
Absolutely, yes.
I tell you what, though, June the 21st is the longest day of the year, so if they don't open up, there's going to be a lot of disappointed druids.
That is the Lexus of power in this country, is the druids. What are the druids thinking?
Well, we've all made sacrifices, haven't we?
Oh, my God, we're going to have so many druids getting in touch with us. Well, actually, we don't do sacrifices, but they're not in some park.
Well, they won't be able to go to school. They have to...
On the back of a mead bottle.
I'm just happy to see old people on the streets again.
You're happy to see old people on the street?
Yes, I mean, helping them cross the road and stuff, so, like, you know what I mean? But, yeah, it's just nice seeing them in their corduroy and stuff.
Yeah, it's good to have them out.
No, because they were hidden for about 18 months.
They weren't hidden.
And also, Kay, I don't know if you've looked at the Zoom, but if you're being mean about old people, you have alienated a...
I'm not being mean about it. I said it's bloody lovely seeing them.
You said they were old.
You said they were old. Actually, they look amazing.
But most of those people are younger than me.
The thing which isn't most striking about it is the fact that they may or may not be older. It's the fact that 2 people in our Zoom crowd are on the witness protection program and cannot let their faces be seen. And that is... and have insisted on only appearing in silhouette.
If you had a voice, it would be a voice that's very much like this.
My only request, probably my greatest thing, I think I could endure this. This is a step. If we could just agree on one app for pubs and ordering pints. If we could just have one app, please, rather than the 9 or 10 separate apps. Because if I have one more night where I'm out with people and they go, oh, shite, I've ordered a pint in a different pub. And I'm going between the 2 pubs. It's like Mrs. Doubtfire. I'm trying to... I'll have the pints here. Oh, quick, out the door, down the street with the pubs, like whatever.
There's all these things that the specific things that you miss. Like, for me, it genuinely is nightclubs. And I mean the really horrible ones. The stickier the floor, the better. That's what I'm...
A while since I've been in a nightclub. Do they still have the cloakroom system with the little raffle tickets?
Yes. I do still have a leather jacket in Tiger Leeds.
You see, I did a similar thing. I once couldn't find the tickets, so I never got my coat back. But then, like, I went home with a bloke that night. I got lucky, you know, took my bra off for the ticket. Did you win that bra in a tombola? Oh, my gosh. I thought they might have upgraded it now, that's all.
If I don't win the bra on this...
I'm clean out.
You're going to have to help me carry them home.
So I can get a couple of pint glasses. We've no idea how breasts work. At the end of that round, the boys are going to end Maisie and Kay. Now we'd like to see, so if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, I'll read out this week's topics, and then we'll see what our panelists can come up with. OK, here we go. Subject is lines you wouldn't hear in a TV detective show.
This is the profile of the killer. As you can see, how he loves killing.
I expect you are wondering why here. It is because you have all failed your French oral.
Can't just blame it on an innocent likely line.
Don't go in there, sir. Miss Marple's just done a massive poo.
His name is Magnum PI, named, of course, after the gun that he carries, and also because he's got ice.
Oi, nucleus, cytoplasm. You're going to be sharing a cell.
I've just had the mayor on my ass. I'm trying to get him in a better mood before I talk to him about funding.
Cause of death? The autopsy. Turns out he was just asleep.
Sarge, we did the DNA test in reverse, and...
Are you sure? I mean, I know nothing. I'm pretty sure that hole in his bottom wasn't caused by a bullet.
This guy's been dead for about a week. Horrible thing is, his dogs have been locked in here as well. They haven't been outside in that long. I take them for a walk, but so far...
Sir, I've just seen the Peaky Blinders. Well, where are they off to? Something about Bernard Castle for an eye test.
Need to ask a few questions to help us with our inquiries. We'll start with, do you know who's been doing all the crimes?
The man was found completely naked with a traffic cone on his head singing I Will Survive. Legend.
So, there were no witnesses. Very convenient. Your brother said he was with you all evening. Very convenient. And you lived near...
Traces of blood, semen, and I'm getting cinnamon.
The next is things that would change the atmosphere at a dinner party.
OK, before we start, our good friend is going to say a few words about us all, so take...
No, it's not Parmesan, actually. I wondered where I'd put my pedicure foot file.
Oh, isn't it lovely to do something without the kids? I mean, ours are all right, but yours are bastards.
Bad news is my cat's died. The good news is we have a new starter.
Oh, and before we start, can I just check, is